I also thought one guy has really kind of stood out for these last 2 days, and it's not somebody I thought would have.
Are you going to say offense or defense?
Defense.
Kaiir?
Yeah.
I know it's weird. There were a lot of people who wrote off Kaiir Elam, kind of guilty of it. A lot of people are in the same boat as us. He looks good.
Not so fast to write off Kaiir Elam.
Not so
fast, midget. Not so fast.
Midget?
Yeah, little guy. Hey, not so fast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. You're not Mike Catalano
No.
or Jenna Cottrell.
No.
This is friend of the program, friend of the family. This is Matt BOVE, sports director, WKBW. Also, go ahead.
The It's Always Game Day in Buffalo podcast. I did not come up with the name. I want to make that clear.
Doesn't matter. It's with Sal. It's with
Yes.
Sal Capaccio. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe to this, as well.
Like,
comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. I got it down. I watched the videos.
Yeah, exactly. But again, second time on?
No, way more.
Whoa,
Definitely.
sorry.
Way more. It's
Sorry.
more than 5, less than 10.
Okay.
I think.
Again, we got to get you some gear.
I have gear. I have a Buffalo Plus
Check.
hat. I have
Check.
a Buffalo Plus quarter zip.
That's
I
it.
did not purchase these.
That's
they were
it.
gifted to
That's
me,
it.
but I own them, and
So
every
it's
once in a while they're in the rotation.
That's it. Awesome. Well, we got him here today to recap day 2, which could not be the final day of mandatory minicamp. Bounce back day for the offense today, Matt.
Yeah, better, not great, but compared to what it has
Yeah, but I'd
been,
say.
definitely better. There were some flashes.
Yeah.
They're going to take some time to get acclimated.
Yeah.
I think that we have probably just assumed because they have Josh Allen, they're going to hit the ground running immediately. But everyone he's throwing to is new. So there's going to be some learning curves. Today was a positive step.
I think so.
But at the same time, they're not even in pads yet. So
No.
I'm not overly concerned.
No, we talked about that. This video will come out Thursday morning. The video that was out Wednesday morning where Mike, Jen, and I recapped, like, it's June. Like, we're not going to overreact. We wish they looked better on day 1 of mandatory minicamp because it wasn't good. But this was a step up. And it was also because I think it was 2 weeks ago or 2 or 3 weeks ago, they didn't look great either offensively. So, like, today was a positive step. Keon Coleman caught a deep ball. KJ Hamler caught a deep ball. And I think before we get any farther, Khalil Shakir was here
Great
working off to the side.
Good sign.
I think that's an exhale out of all Bills fans because leaving practice yesterday, we kind of said was a little bit of a concern. I also thought one guy has really kind of stood out for these last 2 days, and it's not somebody I thought would have.
Are you going to say offense or defense?
Defense.
Kaiir?
Yeah.
I know it's weird. Kaiir Elam. The best thing that could happen was the absences of Russell Douglas and OTAs, and then mandatory minicamp. Christian Benford, an excused absence. I'm not saying that anybody wants those guys gone, but he got reps with the guys who he should be playing with, and he has made the most of these reps. There were a lot of people who wrote off Kaiir Elam, kind of guilty of it. A lot of people are in the same boat as us. He looks good.
Not so fast to write off Kaiir Elam.
But I think that it wasn't wrong because it was 2 years.
Absolutely.
And also, these are 2 good days in June. How does this translate to actual football? We shall see. But you do remember, this is a young guy that certainly is talented, which is why he was drafted where he was.
Talented, and again, he's always talks about it. The first time he's ever struggled. I think that's something. Since high school, you're just the best player. You can just rely on your athletic ability. And maybe whether it's a change at defensive coordinator or maybe it's John Butler not being here, one thing or another. He had an interception yesterday off Josh.
Yes.
And another interception today, jumping a route of Keon Coleman. So, like, wow plays for a guy that is fighting for time. Like, he isn't penciled in as a starter. I think that if you were to roll out there today, I think you'd have Benford and Rasul being the guys. But I've liked what I've seen because to have that depth without Dane, you think about all the new pieces that are out there, I thought it was a really good sign for Kaiir.
You know what this does? This lets you spend the money that you have left not on a depth corner because you do not trust Kaiir Elam. If he has a good enough next, day and then couple weeks once they get to training camp, you can use that money for a defensive end, a defensive tackle, or some other offensive weapon. They don't have to worry as much. They still will because there's not a ton there after him. But you would like to think that a year 3 first-round pick would be good enough to at least fill in if need be.
Yeah. What else has stood out to you? What have you noticed? Again, it's June football, and all of this has to be put into perspective. But there are things that I notice or I write a note down, like what to you has kind of popped?
The middle of the defense, today I was over watching the defensive ends warm up because I wanted to get some shots of Greg Rousseau, AJ Epinesa, and Von Miller. And then as I kind of steer over and I'm looking at Gable Steveson, just because it's interesting, you're like, what does this guy look like? You remember how good Ed Oliver is. And I know there's people who are going to comment on this video and they're going to say, well, what happened in the playoffs game against the Chiefs? Totally valid. But you get Ed Oliver and you get Daquan Jones, who I know they played in that game. Daquan Jones was a shell of himself. He told me that, like, listen, I came back for pride, not because I was ready to come back. So you get those guys now next to each other, and behind them you conceivably get Terrell Bernard and Matt Milano. We were talking on the sideline of practice today. The first 4 games that those guys played with, well, it's actually 3, because he missed the Jets game, Bernard, right? Did he play in the Jets game?
Yeah, he played in the Jets game.
Okay, so
it was 4 and a quarter
4
because Milano got injured in the second quarter of the London game.
So the games that they played, dominant. Go back and watch the game against the Raiders. Go back and watch the game against the Commanders is comical. And then after the first quarter of the Dolphins game.
Yeah, it is so funny. Either of them, they always led the team in tackles for that game. They force so many turnovers. We joke around on the local TV side, the behind the scenes, the inside baseball. If you need to get a play for Terrell Bernard or Matt Milano, you go to the Commanders game. Because it's just like, hey, everybody's got a sack, everybody's got an interception. I know it's the Commanders. Still, I think that stands out. Where is your level? And I know you talk about it on It's Always Game Day in Buffalo, and you and Sal do a great job breaking down topics, but we've talked a lot about the wide receivers because it's a topic of conversation. I guess, where are you, not level of concern, but your intrigue into where and how this is all going to shake out?
1, not concerned at all. 10, incredibly concerned. I'm at like a 6. I'm a little bit closer to concerns than not concerned.
I agree.
Right now, but I'm not all the way there. I think that it's just going to look a lot different, but I also think that this is going to spill into the season.
Yeah.
I just think that you need live reps to get acclimated with each other. And I think that for them, with a really hard start to the season, it could be bumpy at times, and they're going to need to lean on their defense, which has been the same core. I know the secondary is different this year, but at the same time, I don't think that that's a massive loss for them because Micah Hyde was not Micah Hyde last year, and Jordan Poyer was certainly not Jordan Poyer. Still good,
that's fair,
but not what they once were. I'm expecting the defense can kind of pick up where they left off. Not the Chiefs game, but just in general for last season. And offensively,
no Bernard in that Chiefs game.
No Christian Benford in the Chiefs game, also injured.
And a banged up Daquan.
And a banged up Daquan and a banged up Rasul, who we didn't know if he was going to even play in that game.
Yeah.
The defense was definitely injured. But offensively, with the wide receivers, I'm a little concerned just because I think I like the guys they have as a whole, but I think you need a dude. And I don't know if they have that guy. Keon might be. And I'm really high on Curtis Samuel this year.
You are.
But my ceiling on what I think Curtis Samuel could be is still not even close to what Stephon Diggs has been.
My fear is it's 3rd and 14.
Where are you going?
You need a dude. Or, how about this? 3rd and 5. Like make a guy. We heard Joe Brady yesterday screaming, somebody's got to make a blank play. Like, that's my concern. I think Dalton Kincaid has continued to progress, and we have seen flashes. I really, really like, and I know I've talked about before, Keon Coleman's hands. He just feels like he's got strong hands for a rookie. I know what his 40 time was, but his gauntlet time, which always stands out, that's kind of how confident you are with your hands, how fast you can run while catching balls at the combine. That's what really stands out to me, but I'm with you. And I know you have to include Dalton Kincaid into the pass catching thing, all that stuff. You need guys. That's my only fear.
You needed somebody who's going to open it up for the other guys.
That's it.
Which is what Stephon Diggs was so good at. So even when Stephon Diggs was not producing at the level that he was capable of producing in the second half.
People are going to be real mad because when we talk about Stephon Diggs on this channel, they don't like it.
They don't like it, but I know they love Justin Shorter talk, and I know that.
I was going to get it.
I listen, I watch, I know what's going on.
This guy.
But I think when you have a Stephon Diggs to take the attention away from Gabe Davis, who is obviously no longer here, or Khalil Shakir, or Dalton Kincaid, teams will play you different. What the Bills need to figure out, and what teams playing against the Bills need to figure out, is the sum of the parts greater than having one guy who you need to play and plan for?
Yeah, we're going to find out.
I don't know the answer. Dalton Kincaid is going to be such a big piece of this offense this year, but I still like the idea of having a guy outside who can do anything.
Yeah, you're going to have teams trying to take away Dalton Kincaid. Like that is going to be defense's approach.
They're going to play the Bills, and they're going to say, if Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, or Keon Coleman beats us, then you know what? That's what we have to live with.
2 other notes I wanted to point out from camp today was Another drop by James Cook. He's got to address it. It's second day in a row we've had drop issues. And Tyler Bass.
Yeah.
Missed 3 kicks.
Remember the scale I said of 1, not concerned at all, 10, incredibly concerned, and I said 6 for wide receivers? I might be at a 7. A little bit even more towards concerned. And that really doesn't have anything to do with the 3 misses we saw at practice today.
Didn't help it.
It didn't help, certainly not. I would have loved to see him make all of them. I just keep thinking back to the playoff game.
I know.
And I know the Chiefs game.
But you go back to Pittsburgh, too.
But the Pittsburgh game. He has 1 blocked in the Pittsburgh game. Looks like he kicked it a little bit low. He has 1 missed at the end of the game.
Yeah.
That would have made it a 17-point game. It didn't matter. They were already up 14, so that kind of gets pushed to the back burner. Nobody after that game is talking about Tyler Bass missing 2 kicks. They're talking about, okay, next up is the Chiefs. I just wonder, is he, because they paid him.
They paid him.
Is he an above average to very good kicker like he is paid to be? Or do you still, here's the question right now. It is week 1. The Bills are, oh no, week 1, they're playing the Cardinals. It is week 2. You were on the road in Miami. 51-yard, you're down 2 points. 51-yarder. You win the game if you make the kick, you lose it. You take it?
You got to take it. You take it.
Are you confident he makes it, though?
I'm not confident.
That's the problem.
But I would take it.
That's the problem.
Yep. So we'll see. Also, I thought it was cool. Dawson Knox and Connor McGovern, you have a great story coming out. Follow you as well for all of your Connor McGovern stuff about making pizzas.
Making pizzas.
And these pizza muffins, which I'm very interested in.
Josh Allen called them little pockets. I forgot exactly what he said, but he was like, these are little delicious, delectable balls of dough or something.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody thinks that this guy, Connor, I tried the food. It is very good, but I think it is the coolest thing that when this team was struggling, they were like, guys, let's just be boys and let's hang out with each other. And
just be dudes.
We're gonna guys being dudes. Guys being dudes. So for those of you who do not know, Connor McGovern, who is now the Bills center, started having pizza parties following the Eagles game last year.
Yep.
The Bills were 6-1 after the Bills had these pizza parties. They did them on Friday night. He had mostly the offensive line over.
Yeah.
A couple of the skill players were there. Josh Allen popped over to one a couple months ago. They continued it. They liked the camaraderie of it. Connor McGovern was dishing out the pizzas. So it's something that they're going to continue. So 6-1 with pizza parties. Let's expand that over a full season scale. That's like 14-3. So
that's it. I really like that, as well as I thought what Dawson Knox was talking about. They hear all of these rumbles about the offense and what it is. And Dawson Knox, in his calm, cool, collective manner that he is, especially with us in the media, and how level-headed he is through all this stuff, just kind of saying like, yeah, we hear it. And we're going to have 17 chances to prove them wrong. Like, I like that mentality of understanding they're not naive. They're not clueless to this fact of like, we got to build something. They like the fact that Joe Brady, they reiterate it time and time again. It's almost like, did you know Gabe Davis had an injured ankle that they kept hitting over the head? Joe Brady got thrown in the fire. And that you really didn't see Joe Brady's offense. Also, this time around, Josh Allen is calling plays during certain periods.
Yeah.
Like they're really getting to know what Josh wants to do. We saw what Joe Brady did with letting the offensive line say, hey, which runs do you like? I like that collaborative method that I think we're going to see more from a Joe Brady offense.
I like the collaboration. I like the potential. But I also still think, and I'm fearful, that the ceiling will not be as high. And I don't know if that has anything to do with personnel.
Compared to Dorsey's?
More to Dable than Dorsey, because I don't think the ceiling was incredibly high. The ceiling, I mean, they scored 48 points against the Dolphins, so it's like, okay, the ceiling is very clearly there. You just don't reach it on a consistent basis. I just think that it's going to be intentionally a more balanced attack. Like, I think
they're going to run the ball more.
They're going to run the ball more.
That
I think
sucks.
the tight ends are going to be in play a lot more. Obviously, Dalton Kincaid, that's not a bad thing, but I think Dawson Knox plays a big role in this team.
Yeah.
I think what the sample size from James Cook was during those last 8 games with Joe Brady is going to be more like what we see. Ty Johnson is going to have a role. So I just think if you're somebody who's expecting Josh to come out and throw 300-yard games in his sleep, I just don't think that's going to happen as much. That doesn't necessarily mean that the team is bad. It just means they're going to look different.
We think there's practice tomorrow.
We think, yeah.
We don't know. Historically, we've talked about this. They cancel this, and they go home, and this will be the last time we will talk on location in Buffalo until this guy is back in Rochester.
Back in Rochester and back at Marge's Lakeside.
Yeah,
and if you were listening, Marge's, I'll see you in July.
And Pittsford Dairy.
Yes, that too. That was very good.
And Pittsford Dairy. He's Matt Bove. He's not Jenna. He's not Mike.
No.
He's better than both of them. He's better than me.
No, much less talented.
Again, always Game Day in Buffalo. Like, comment, subscribe to that. Like, comment, subscribe to Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. We appreciate it. As always, we'll see you next time on the Buffalo Plus YouTube
page. Like, comment, subscribe.